Hey everybody, today I'm gonna make a base for a utility sink. A little stand. Gathered up some scrap metal out here, gonna weld it together. But I drew up some plans, got my materials together. Maybe this will give you some ideas and have some fun. I'm gonna start with cutting some of the garbage off of my scrap, because it's all about recycling here. So I got some nice stuff to work with. All that. From my drawing, I know the measurements of all the pieces that I need. So I'm going to make sure that I accurately mark all my pieces, write on the pieces what sizes each of them are, match them to my list, and then go ahead and cut them all. I have all my pieces cut. I have them all marked. I have 4 30-inch pieces, 2 27-inch pieces, and 4 17-inch pieces. I'm going to take the grinder and go ahead and clean the ends all up on them and start fitting everything together. Now, assuming my cuts were fairly square, I assembled all my pieces together and I made a couple of little marks right here so I know about where that needs to be. And I have these handy clamps here. I'm just going to put one in the center of each to hold it together and make sure that everything's looking good, which it is. That looks good. Can't get it in there under the clamp, but everything is the way that it's supposed to be. And like one of my old bosses used to tell me, I'm not building a Swiss watch, put it together. Alright, let's do some welding. Alright, I had a little problem with this one corner popping up in the air, so I put a heavy weight on there to keep it flat. Then I took my grinder and I went over all the places where I'm going to be welding to clean it up a little bit, makes it easier to weld. Plus this is galvanized steel, which makes a lot of fuss and spatter and smoke and everything when you're trying to weld on it. Galvanized material is actually zinc, which the term from a buddy of mine from a long time ago is called zinc stink when you try to weld over top of it. So I took a little bit of that off. Now I'm going to go ahead and tack all these sides, flip them both over, tack the other side, and then go ahead and weld it together tight. Don't know how this is going to turn out, but we'll give it a shot. And don't worry, you're not going to hurt your eyes by watching a video of welding. Tack on there so I can move them around without messing them up. Alright, now that they're all tacked, I can turn them over, do the other side. Move on to the next step. Alright, my clamps aren't long enough to assemble everything, so I'm going to have to tack this together corner by corner and then straighten it all up before I get everything in fully welded. That'll get it started. I'll get my square on there and make sure everything's good to go, and then finish putting it together, and then I'll show you what it's all going to look like when we get the sink in place. The last thing I got going on here is some little tabs, not to be mistaken with my nephew, who's a big tab, to hold the sink centered on top of the stand. Come on now. That's the end of that. Now we can take this contraption and set it in place in the studio and put the sink on top of it and see how it looks. Not to mention that Mrs. Mechanical Mike said that it was time for lunch, which is always a good thing. Okay, this is the sink that's going to go on that stand. Needs cleaned up, but hey, it's only going to be for cleaning up clay products when the potter gets here. Now let's see if this thing is going to work. I only want to do this once because this is a cast iron sink and it's really heavy. Mrs. Mechanical Mike would probably say get some help, but I think I can make this work. Now, if my measurements are correct, these little metal tabs on here should fit right in the edge of the sink. So let's give it a shot. There. Over there. Whoops. It's on a little crooked. That's how it should go. Fix the faucets up. Hook it up. Put some drainage in there. I made sure that this has enough space under the bottom to put the catch basin for the clay, so it doesn't all go down the pipe and clog my sewer. But hey, hopefully that was informative, and have fun with your do-it-yourself projects.